If you push out a baby, you understand. Even if you did a C-section, you understand what it's like to feel like you don't have anything left to give. And somehow, almost miraculously, you find the energy and you bring life into this world. And I
Welcome to another episode of Mind Your Space. I'm your host, Queen, and today we have Shanae Robertson.
Hi, Queen.
Hi. Did I pronounce it correct?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Usually it's Robinson,
okay.
but yeah, you got the Robertson fine.
Let me tell you a little bit about Shanae. Shanae graduated top of her class in marriage and family. She is a mother,
Mm-hmm.
she is a wife, and she's an awesome friend. And today we're going to talk about finding yourself.
And I'm really excited about this, Queen, because these are conversations that you and I have all the time, but for the first time we're actually recording it. So this
I
should be
know, right?
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, as a mother, a lot of us right now, there's things that is happening in our life where we feel so lost. And that's why we're going to talk about today, finding yourself. But before we find ourselves, that means we needed to lose something. So Shanae,
Mm-hmm.
in motherhood, take us back to that time where you felt lost.
Well, if I'm being honest, Queen, I think the moment you bring a child into that world or into the world,
Hmm.
you almost immediately lose yourself. And what I mean by that is prior to having a child, really, you can be as individualistic as you want. You wake up, you think about you. What am I going to eat? What am I going to wear? What am I going to do today? But the moment you bring a child into the world, all of that changes, right? And almost automatically, if you are trying to be a good parent and put your child first, almost automatically, you find that you lose yourself in an effort to be there for your child, to show up for them consistently, day after day after day. And to me, honestly, losing yourself is not entirely a, a negative thing. Because I think sometimes when you hear that, it sounds almost negative. But I think it's a positive thing because we are able to become a selfless version of ourselves. And I think there's a lot of joy and there's a lot of happiness that comes with looking outside of ourselves sometimes. So yeah, I would say I lost myself the moment I brought my son into the world. Almost immediately.
And how did that affect you at first? Just knowing that everything that you did before, it was like, halt, that's it, no more you.
At first it was exhausting. It was so it's a type of exhaustion that is hard to describe, right? One, you're not sleeping at night. And then it's not like, okay, I didn't sleep last night, so I'm going to sleep in today. No, because if the baby's up, you need to be up. And you have to change the baby, feed the baby, all of these different things. And so it was exhausting. It was lonely. It's super important to have friends and have people who can relate and who are going through it. But at the end of the day, it's such a lonely road. And so it really takes time, or at least it took me time, several months postpartum to get out of that low phase.
Okay. And a lot of people watching right now, just know that, I shouldn't say it's not a bad thing to lose yourself, because
It's not.
a lot of the times we in denial. Like, I never change. Oh, this baby didn't change me. Yes, this baby changed you physically, mentally, emotionally, all the these you could think about.
Mm-hmm.
You are a different person. And I think a lot of us hold on to what we know.
Yep.
We hold on to
And
what
that
we
makes it
know.
hard. That makes it really
Yes.
hard.
And that's what make it hard, because we holding on to this part of us. And I would say the Lord is saying it's okay to let go.
Mm-hmm.
You are becoming. But because we hold on
Mm-hmm.
so tightly to this here, that it makes it really difficult. And that was me. And I think we all can relate.
Mm-hmm.
That was me. I was holding on to my previous body.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
I know for you, the physical, you can't really talk about the physical. That's at the
So
least of my problems. Uh-huh.
you see, and it's different for everyone. For
For
me,
everybody. Yep.
physically, I was like, ooh, this is hard. But then I didn't realize how much I changed mentally. It took a toll on me because I was going through all these different things. And I think a lot of people within this pregnancy journey, we see the physical, but we don't see the mental and how much it
Mm-hmm.
affects mothers. this
Mm-hmm.
change, how much it affects us.
Yeah. And I think you're right. Like it affects us so much mentally because we hold on so much to the past, right? The past version of ourselves, our ability to do certain things. When before I had my son, I could wake up, just like I was saying previously, I could wake up and do whatever I wanted, right?
Yeah.
And now after having him, I have to put him first. And so my day generally revolves around him. And so instead of trying to hold on and long for what was, it's important to now create a new normal for yourself. And I think that for me was what I had to do to get out of that low phase shortly after he was born.
So if you're listening right now, just know that you're not alone in this. When you feel lost, we all have been through it. We are just here to help you make your journey a little more smoother so that you can understand it's okay to
Hmm.
let go. It's okay to leave all that behind and embrace the new you. And it might look different for a lot
And
of
it's kind
people.
of exciting.
It is. Well, not at first.
Yeah, so at the beginning, yes, you said, it was frightening in the sense that you're letting go of a lot of the things that you were familiar with, a lifestyle that you were very familiar with and comfortable with. And change is hard. You've had that conversation on your previous podcast. Change is hard, change is uncomfortable, and such a dramatic change at that. One day you wake up and it's just you and your spouse, and the next day, boom, a baby enters your world and changes that world completely. But I am almost a year postpartum right now, and after having almost a solid year to kind of find my balance again and figure things out, now it's exciting because I can say, okay, well, who am I trying to become? And that's a big question for me now because now I'm not just living for me, I'm living for a little human being who depends on me. And so what kind of mother do I want to be? Right? And so lately I find that I've been looking for different things to do, different interests to pursue. And my biggest one right now is reading. And so I've just been reading a lot of different books, trying to sharpen my mind so that I can be that sort of mother who will be able to help my son academically or be able to, push him to learn new things and to learn about the world. So it's really exciting for me, the phase that I'm in now, almost 12 months postpartum, trying to find different interests and find a new normal.
And that is good. Like kudos to you with reading because, like you said, it's different. Finding new interests can be challenging because you're trying to figure out what works best for you, and it's
Hmm.
okay. I would say it's okay to fail in the process because that's the only how you're gonna know
Yep.
if it works for you. A lot of people are
Yep.
afraid of failure. That's okay.
Hmm.
Failure is part of the journey. You're gonna try
Hmm.
something and you mightn't like it. Just move on
Yeah.
until you find
Yeah.
something that you love. But I want to know, Shani, the bridge between that fear and, oh my goodness, this is exciting. Like,
Hmm.
what was in the middle? What led you to that level of, oh, okay, this is exciting, from I am so scared to let go to, oh my goodness, new stuff. Let's go.
Hmm. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said you're going to fail along the way.
Mm,
And I think failure was actually my bridge, right? I
yeah.
tried different things. And the example I'm going to use is fitness. You and I talk about this all the time. This minute, this minute, okay, you're on a high and you start exercising, going to the gym or walking a lot or whatever it is. And then boom, you do that for 10 days and you stop for a solid week or even several months in between. And for me, I was trying different things, reading or working out or whatever different interests I've been pursuing, and I failed multiple times along the way. And I think what led me now to get to the point where I'm excited is because I know what it's like to be in that moment of fear and to experience failure, and me not like the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the feeling. And I think not wanting to get back to that place inspires me to want to pursue different interests, to want to grow, to want to create a new normal for myself. Because I understand that where I was before is no place I want to stay.
Okay.
And so for me, the bridge wasn't this beautifully constructed thing. No, it was a bridge of lots of failures, lots of starting over, but it worked. it worked when I realized that, okay, this is not where I want to be. And even though I failed, I just have to keep trying different things, like you said.
Right. And so what I'm hearing is that, which is so crazy because a lot of people use fear, and fear cripples a lot of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, oh my goodness. But other persons, fear is the drive for them.
Yep.
And you see how different it is? Where I remember fearing a lot of stuff when I was younger. And I was like, because I was afraid to become people within my community, I choose a different path. So
Yep.
that fear led me here today because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want it to become like those persons in my community. I
Mm-hmm.
fear that. And because that, it didn't cripple me, it empowered
It
me to
motivated you,
do
yeah.
exactly, to do what I need to do. And so if you're listening, you probably have fear, that fear is crippling. How can we move from this fear is crippling me to this fear is pushing me to do what I need to do?
That's a tough question. How do you get from a point where the fear is crippling you to a
Mm-hmm.
point where the fear is motivating you?
Mm-hmm.
Is what you're saying?
Yes.
Are we talking about motherhood in particular? Because almost I feel like it really depends on what the situation or the circumstances
Okay. Yeah,
are,
motherhood. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so in terms of motherhood, based on my experience, and I kind of said it before, I got from point A to point B because I recognized that point A wasn't getting me anywhere, right? It was a place of darkness, it was a place of loneliness, and I think it's good for us to imagine our future, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you imagine your future and you think, okay, if I continue on this path, this is what my future looks like. It's a future of darkness, it's a future of loneliness, it's a future of depression. Nobody wants that. So then I just had to, in Jamaica, we say fed up. You just have to get fed up at the situation. Like just be
Right.
done, just be over it. And I think that's where I ended up. After months of not showing up for myself, not doing the things I know I needed to do to be happy and to feel whole, I just got fed up. And I said, Shanae, you just have to try. Like, and I am going to say this, Queen, talking about motherhood, I think I fell into this victimhood mentality,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you and I are big advocates for mental health. It's so important to be in tune with yourself and to open up about what you're feeling. But I think I got to the point where that's all I focused on. All I focused on was the struggles. All I focused on was the darkness that I was feeling early postpartum. And I became a victim. And I had to get to the point where one day I decided, listen, you're not a victim. Motherhood is not something that just happened to me. I chose to be a mom. I chose to bring life into this world. And I think once I escaped that victim mentality, I realized that I had control over my life and I had control over the choices I made every day. So instead of waking up and staying in bed and watching a movie, you get out of bed and you find something healthy to put in your body. You move yourself, go for a walk, and so escaping that victimhood mentality helped me to move from point A to point B instead in terms of how I allowed fear to affect my life.
Yes. And I hope you guys are listening and taking in everything Shanae is saying, because this is going to lead you from being lost to actually finding yourself. That fear can be a good thing. It's
Mhm.
use it as a good thing. Don't use it to cripple you, but use it to empower you and to drive. Is the driving factor behind every decision you're gonna make. And so a
Mhm.
lot of people, like I said, become victims. And that is one thing I tell people, yes, I wanted to become a mother, but I didn't realize it would be so hard.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of us kind of fall in that category where we want to bring life into the world. We just, our expectation
Very
and
different from
reality,
reality. Totally different.
it is so different. And so now I'm like, boy, did I make the right decision?
Mm-hmm.
I am,
Mm-hmm.
and don't get me wrong, I wouldn't go back and change anything because I love my child. I love baby boy. He is everything to me, you know? But sometimes I'm like, this is hard. And the
It rough.
mental aspect is like one of the most difficult aspect of motherhood because
Mm-hmm.
you are your critic. You are the
Yep.
one that keeping you in that dark mess. You are the one that letting fear cripple you. And so every single day when you're in your head and you keep repeating those things over and over again. And so now we have kids in the picture. We have to see what is our driving force to make a better
Mm-hmm.
life. So now we have a driving force for us to be better persons, better individual, whether it be a better mom, a better wife, whatever it is you choose to be. But I always tell people you go back to your why, and as well, like the why is what will help you out of the funk if you have a good why. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you don't believe, well, you should have a good why because now you're a mother, right? And so that should be
Yeah.
like your driving factor to get out of the funk, to understand that it's okay to let go of the past and embrace the new you. And while embracing the new you, you discover different things, different interests, and then you just
Mm-hmm.
become. That is what we're talking about, being able to let go and find new interests. And just like Shani say, her interest now is diving into all these amazing books to expand her
Mm-hmm.
knowledge so she can better be equipped to deal with anything that come her way when dealing with her baby boy. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me now, oh my goodness, it was very hard for me to let go of my past. Certain aspect it was hard for me to let go of, but I do struggle sometimes with the fear of, oh my goodness, what if? What if this didn't work out? What if I try this and it don't work out? You know, we all have that fear. But I told myself, you know what? Just like Shani said, if I continue down this path and I realize it's like a continuous cycle. I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
this, but nothing is changing. I'm still being frustrated. I'm still depressed. I'm still doing all these. I know something had to change, and that is
Mm-hmm.
me. I needed to let go and become. And so when I decide that, then I see all these different things coming into play where I decided I was like, Shani, I'm gonna start my podcast. You know, like
It's kind
I'm
of
gonna
cool,
do
right?
this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna start my podcast because there's a lot of mothers out there that don't have a voice, that is struggling in silence. They don't know why they're going through these things. And I wanted to create a space where we can talk about these things openly, where we understand that it's important mentally to be okay. It's important, like you said earlier on, Sinead, to have a good community. So look at your space around you, people who you keep in your circle is very important for that leap from that fear of crippling to, oh my goodness, this is motivating me. Yes, I fear it, but I'm motivated to do something. So, Shanae, what advice do you have to every mother out there who's listening, who is trapped in that funk, who that fear cripples them because they don't want to let go of the past and they fear the future. They fear the unknown, I should say.
It's a hard one, Queenie. That's a hard one. Because I feel like when I was in that position, different things helped me, depending on the day, depending on what I was going through in that moment. All right, let me think about this one. I think first and foremost, I want you mothers who, as Queen described, if you're trapped in that funk, first I want you to understand that it won't always be that way. Okay? Naturally, things get better with time, right? And I think the first several months postpartum might be the hardest, but number one is give things time. Give yourself time to get used to your new normal, to get used to having a baby, to get used to being this selfless version of yourself. So that's number one. Give it time. And then number two is I want you to remind yourself every single day that you are capable of escaping the funk. For the longest time, I just, going back to the exercise example, Queen, I would wake up and I would justify not exercising, not moving my body. Because when I say exercise, I don't want people to think, oh, going to the gym. It could just be going for a walk. I used to justify it by saying, well, you know, um, I didn't really sleep good last night. I'm so exhausted. I really don't have the energy. But guess what? You do have the energy, right? If you push out a baby, you understand. Even if you did a C-section, you understand what it's like to feel like you don't have anything left to give. And somehow, almost miraculously, you find the energy and you bring life into this world. And I always remember my labor experience. It's inspiring because it reminds us that in the moment when you feel like you don't have any more to give, you actually do, right? And I think you have to remind yourself that there's more to you than you realize sometimes. And so for now, those are just the two things I'll leave. Number one is give it time, and number two, understand that you have it in you. You have it in you. And so if there's something in your life that you want to change, just just try, you know? Fail along the way. Like you learn from failure. Fail along the way, but just try. So at the end of the day you can say, I tried.
Yes, I tried. And, well, yes, I tried. Because I always tell people, stop using the word try. Just say, I'm going to do this. Because a lot of
Uh-huh.
the times when we say, yeah, I'm going to try to do it, we tend
You
not
don't
to do
really
it.
give it your
You
all.
don't really,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
We don't give it our all, especially in the
Uh-huh.
Caribbean. Oh, yeah, I would try to
Yeah,
reach.
man.
Yeah, I would try.
Yeah, we
We
try.
know we're not
We try
coming.
things. Yeah.
Exactly. So don't
Mm-hmm.
try, do it.
Just do
Don't
it.
try to get up
Mm-hmm.
every morning. Just get up.
Just do
Don't
it.
try to take a shower. Just take a shower. Don't try to
Mm-hmm.
put yourself together. Put yourself together. And that
Mm-hmm.
will make the big difference in your day to day life, where you just take the time to nurture you as well. Because a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the time, when we're not good, we cannot give our 100% to our little one.
Yep.
And so keep that in mind. In order to be there for your little one, you need to be there for yourself. So you need to, I always say, enjoy the journey. Yes, we excited about the destination. And a lot of the times we so excited about the destination that we don't enjoy the journey.
Oh gosh. Queen, there's never been a truer word. It's true. Right? It's like we always moving the goalposts. You look forward to, oh, I can't wait to have a baby. And then baby come. And what happen? You move the goalpost. Oh, I can't wait for the baby start, walking or being more independent. And you miss out completely, just longing for the next thing. You miss out
Mm-hmm.
completely on the journey. It's so hard. And I think that's one of the sources of our anxiety because people say, I've heard it, I don't remember who said it, but it's so true that anxiety lives either in the past or in the future, never in the present. You
Yes.
understand? If you are living in the present, that can help to tone down those anxious feelings. But if you're constantly thinking about, oh, the future or this or that, what if, like you said, the what ifs, then we are going to be anxious and we're going to pass our days away, not just missing what's happening before us, but also being extremely anxious. And that's no sort of life that I want to live.
So our message to you is to enjoy the journey. Enjoy every aspect of motherhood, and it would make a difference in your life. It would make a difference how you perceive yourself, how you see your little baby boy or girl, and even how you see your husband. Trust me. Just
Yeah, that's a conversation for another time. The
yeah.
truth.
Yep. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Shanae, really appreciate you coming on today.
I
And
enjoyed
then
being here.
again, go ahead and follow us on social media. Everything will be linked down below. And go ahead and subscribe, like this video because it tells the algorithm that we are doing something good so more mothers can actually see what we are doing and be empowered and be inspired and continue to live in the moment. And we will see you on our next episode of Mind Your Space.